That is. Yep. I only know what it is because I've seen pictures of it. Is this yours?
No, it never started though. It's a Shelby one-off prototype that they were going to put into production. They never did. It's called Lone Star.
You know what? I know this car because I've seen pictures of it, and I somehow, I don't know if I read the guy's blog, but doesn't he own a CSX 8000 or a Kirkham or something?
Yeah, Mike does. Yeah, that's awesome right there.
Oh, okay. So I think I read his blog.
Yeah, it's undercover Ferrari Horse.
Yeah. That's the guy. That's why I know.
That's him. He wrote the book.
That's right. That's right.
Daddy,
I love the Tiger air cleaner.
That was original.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We had a set of Thackeray photos that there were two sets of about 12, and then there was an Auto Week article in the front, and there were less than 50 photos in the whole world.
Wow.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think I've read your blog before. Don't you have a Kirkham 289 FIA? Yeah, I've read your blog. Somehow I know this because the internet, you know. And I remember reading about the whole build of the Kirkham. You got it under 2,000 pounds, didn't you?
Yeah, 1999 with 1 gallon of gas.
Yeah, I read the whole story online. Is that funny? And I know what this is because I saw the pictures. You've had this car for a long time, right? There's only one, right? Lone Star. How'd you acquire it? It just probably showed up in a newspaper, right? Back in the 70s or something, right?
I just bought it. Actually, a guy who was here today told me about it. He said,
Mind if I videotape you talking?
He said, he said, the guy's got a car called the Lone Star for sale. You might be interested. And I knew what it was.
Right.
So I bought it.
Wow.
1975.
That's awesome. Back in the days where you could take your pick of crazy, rare, exotic.
Yeah, you really could.
Yeah.
You could really take your pick. I remember in '69, John Wire was selling his GT40 Mirages for 12 grand, and that was a lot of money.
Right.
So he had two of them he had for sale, and then Gulf Oil kept the one that won Le Mans twice. But you can buy stuff for reasonable price.
Yeah, I read the magazine article one time. Somebody guy went researched the whole Travis Air Force Base P-51s, and it was all true. It's all true because it was like it kind of became mythology, and then somebody went and researched it. And I was up at Willow's one time having pie. People would fly up there and have lunch, and a guy behind me goes, "Yeah, you ever heard of Dago Red, the P-51?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I bought that for $3,000." He says, "I got bored of flying it." P-51s are great, but you do about 500 hours, and they're kind of loud. But very cool. I like the air cleaner. I got that same air cleaner on my Tiger.
Yeah. Chip probably told you search for that. Yeah, this is a good car, but we haven't run it much because it's just finished. This your son?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
This is Nicholas.
You are what?
It's a pleasure to meet you, Nicholas.
Hi, Nicholas. Nice to meet you.
So did you write the book Cobra Ferrari Wars?
Yeah.
Now they're doing a movie now, right?
No, they're doing a movie called. They're doing a movie. They wouldn't tell me the name of it. The guy says it's really based on. Well, it's about the '66 season, about Ken Miles and the Le Mans finish, and so. They used to say it was based on A.J. Bain's book, which is called Go Like Hell. He credits my book, but my book is about the Cobras, whereas this movie's going to be about it's going to be more about Shelby American. It's going to mention the Cobras. It's really be about Ken Miles and Mark II Fords.
Wow. Well, Ken Miles is probably a pretty good bio. He's a pretty interesting guy, right? He did a lot of stuff in his short life,
Yeah. Have you got my book? You ought to get it.
I do. I think I have your book. I think I have your video. Isn't there a video?
No,
Somebody did a video.
There's a video. That was a theft of intellectual property. Yeah, they put the name of my book on it, and copied a lot of stuff from the book, and did not do a good job. So it really hurt my book sales a lot, because people then received the misimpression that video had something to do with my book, and I think the book is far higher quality than the video and far more complete. So it hurt the book a lot, because the new guys that were coming into the Cobra interest were buying replica cars, and they were 20 times as many people, but that was the time this guy introduced this video. But you know, it is what it is.
You know, yeah, that's the way. There's a double-edged sword. You get new people in it, but then they kind of co-opt it.
Yeah. But it's I'm okay with it. I'm okay with everything. This was sort of the last gasp of Shelby American.
Really?
Oh yeah, this was very much.
What year was this made?
This was May of 1967. It was completed.
Didn't they try to put his name on like the Mangusta or the Pantera, and Shelby drove it and wasn't impressed?
Not that I know of.
I heard some stories about that, and you don't know what's true. My brother had a Pantera, and it's an interesting car.
Well, anyway, I mean, this was.
So that's a 289 hypo, right?
Yeah.
K-motor.
289.
Wow.
So I'm gonna go to dinner on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm supposed to give a talk on this car at the dinner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Very
you
cool.
might learn more about it, but you could talk for 20 minutes on it. Because it was Shelby, as his core people left, he was less able to continue building super high performance cars.
Right.
And so they started leaving really at the end of '65.
Oh, that's soon.
So then by the time, so they never even really built a 67 Cobra. There was no 67 Cobra. So if you look at the 427, it was the 65 and 66. They called some of them 67s because they were sold in 67, but they're all built and designed in 66. So even by the end of 66, they had become so committed to the Ford GT program. Took what resources they had, they put it all in that, and in the Trans Am program and the Mustang program. So they had, which were all Ford programs, a Ford GT, a Ford Mustang.
Right.
Ford didn't want to bankroll again a ton of money for a Shelby American Cobra powered by
to build
Ford,
somebody else up, right?
when he already was achieving this tremendous success. He'd already had achieved it with the Ford GT and the Cobra, so he didn't want to start a whole new car.
Right.
Or Ford didn't. So they didn't do this. So but the guys within Shelby American and associated with Shelby American were what you call true believers, and they still believed in the Shelby American Cobra concept. And so those guys kept the momentum to get this thing going. So this thing was really started in October of 1965, and then it really got going in '66. So by the time this thing was finished, Ford was finished with Shelby America.
Right.
And there was no chance they were going to do this. And I was at Shell. You're still recording?
Yeah.
And I was at. You got to hear this story. Do you know what?
Great stuff.
Do you know what 1042 Princeton is?
That's his address, right?
What? Yeah, that's. I was there in either 73 or 72. Shelby said, "Go in there and see what you can find," because I was researching my book on the Cobras. And in a locker, Honest Engine, I found a nicely put together book. It was softbound, but about this big, a little less than an inch thick. All about this car, beautifully done. And so, because I wasn't writing a book on this, I put it back in this locker where it was, and figured somebody's just going to steal it or throw it in the garbage, but I'm not going to take it. So, and the place was, of course, nothing was inside 1042 Princeton. There's a couple other things. And then, 3 years later, I ended up buying it. But I figured that was the book that Shelby American put together to present to Ford to say this is the car you should consider building. You know, so. But
What do you think? How many irons in the fire? The Pantera, and just all the other things.
oh yeah, well they had the Mach 1, the Mustang Mach 1. That was they sold 50-some thousand in '69. A car like this, the contemporary of this car was Lamborghini Mira, of which they sold maybe 50 copies a year. For it, there was no good
Right,
business
no
reason.
incentive, right?
No business reason, so they didn't do it. But this thing said this was really the final iteration of the Shelby American Dream, you know, high performance supercar. But it never happened. Shelby was exhausted by then. Brock had left in the end of '65, and Miles was dead at the end of '66. And the top guys that really had the combination of brains and ability were Remington and Shelby. And there were other smart guys, but Shelby listened to those other three guys, but two of them were gone.
Yeah, that Ken Miles would have lost.
10 miles was a big loss, so, you know.
Because he did the prototype Tiger on a weekend.
Yeah.
You know, the guy was
Miles
just
was really smart.
very smart, very driven.
And the other thing about, you know, the Cobras were developed through racing, and that was 100% paid for by Ford. They had agreed to do that. Well, nobody had agreed to pay 100% reimbursed for racing this thing, which would have been needed to develop. So it was, and see, Ford had its own prototype at the same time. If you look back in the magazine and stuff, you see there was a Ford called Mach 2, which was a mid-engine car based in.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Is that still around?
I don't know, but they didn't produce that, even though it had a Ford name.
What I don't understand about Ford is how come, Pete Brock and all these, there's a couple of guys still alive. Why don't they tap these guys to, take maximum, because all this has come back now. It used to be you go to Shelby convention, a couple hundred people, nobody knew what a Cobra was. Now everyone knows what a Cobra is. I asked Pete Brock that. I think we asked him that. How come Ford didn't tap you to do the new Mustang? Just do a new Mustang. Have him design it, because he can do a beautiful car.
Well, but the new Ford Mustangs are really high performance. They really are.
Oh yeah, yeah. We rented just a GT down in Santa Barbara, and I was so impressed.
Doesn't that have like 450 horsepower?
450 horsepower, 10-speed automatic. It's the same one that's in the Challenger.
Yeah, they're superb cars. Just like now, the Ferrari cars are superb.
Yeah.
I mean, if you went into the late '80s, they sucked.
Yeah. They're terrible.
In the '80s, they all
That's why you don't see them on the road.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons you don't see certain cars on the road, because they don't stay on the road.
Oh, good. But I wanted to get this car done because it was sort of, and I had a bunch of Cobras, and I lost them all. And so this is the last car I had.
You lost them all.
In life, life comes.
Yeah, that's how it
happen,
goes.
Yeah,
things happen.
And this is the only one I couldn't sell because it was in such crappy condition.
Which worked out good.
Yeah, it worked out really good. Then another good.
You don't want that. Nobody wants that thing.
There's another good story about this car. All the time I had it, I was spending money restoring it. I thought, well, shit, nobody's going to believe it's a Cobra, but then I started reassembling the documents, and the original in-house documents, it's a Cobra.
Well, what's the frame? Is it ladder?
No, it's a simplified GT40. The Lola T70 was a simplified GT40 frame. Then this is a simplified Lola T70.
Excuse me, Dad.
It's just.
Can you go now?
In a minute.
This is that's your son or grandson?
These are all my children. Yeah.
High five.
Clean living. That's why I look so young.
Clean living. Well, yeah, it's just simplified. It's just a tub. And the guy who designed it, he was one of the key engineers on the GT40.
Oh, wow.
They're one of the guys in this car.
Super cool.
So
where do you live? Like Phoenix or something?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I know all this stuff. Yeah, it's still in there somewhere. So I remember reading your blog and reading about the Kirkham, going, wow, that's cool. And he owns the Lone Star. Wow, that's super cool.
the Kirkham's a good car.
Is it? You like it? You still got that car?
Oh shit, yeah. Pardon my that car.
We'll edit that out.
Now see, if you go back and look at that car on my website and think about it, because you're a bright guy with knowledge, and you'll see that was the car that if Miles had lived and Ford had supported a development of the Cobra, that would have been the car. Using the old technology to make it really quick. It's a great car. I mean, my buddy.
You don't realize how much goes into this. I watched a video where they interviewed a modern engineer.
Yeah.
And he was talking about individual cylinder head temperatures and exhaust temperatures. And I was like, oh, you forget how much goes into this,
Yeah.
how much engineering,
No, that car was superb. I mean, I just took what other people, all the tricks that Miles had done before, threw it into that car. And
You didn't bring that car though.
no, but see, people don't know what that car is. Oh, it's another replica. It's just but my friend who built the motor, he dominated vintage racing of Cobras for 20 years. And after he couldn't race anymore, he trained another guy who dominated it for 10 years. And so,
Who was that?
Don Roberts.
Okay.
And the other guy was, what's his face, out of Tucson.
Okay.
And Don looked at my car, and he put the motor, and he very grudgingly, he didn't want to say it. He doesn't want to say it because Don is so conservative. Don said, yeah, it's the best Cobra ever. I mean, he always said, so I'll be quiet after that. But it's definitely, it's a killer car. It's really, I mean, you get, because you're using all those stroke motors, you can use any one of the stroke
Crazy
motors.
stuff. I drove the Kirkham, one of the Kirkham brothers was here, and I drove the 427 one year. Yeah. I was like, wow. Well, there's a guy that came to something in Sonoma down the street. I forget what event it was, but he came down from the foothills in a green one.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, I drove a Kirkham, much better.
Well, yeah.
Because his original was a little built on a Friday.
Well, no, they were okay, but 427 was, it's a kind of car that, oh shit, there's a big straight and you really got to brake at the end, it's oh shit, or I better be careful with this, whereas if you go on the same track with a race 289, it's like, boy, this will really do it. It's much easier to drive.
Yeah.
I had both, I had factory race cars of both. And I drove them on tracks.
The good old days. Now you look at the prices, you go, what?
I might kill myself if I drove one. Wait till you have grandkids.
Oh no, I got kids. I got a grandkid on the way.
Do you?
With my oldest.
Are both these guys?
These are all mine.
All your kids?
These are all.
Sure. Oh, I'll let you go.
Hence, I only have a Sunbeam Tiger.
I'll give you a ride in this thing.
Oh yeah, say when.
You stay. Well, when they clear this car out. If you come to Phoenix, I'll give you a ride in the Kirkham.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll look you up. I'm a pilot. I get all over.
Do you?
Yeah, I go to Phoenix quite a bit. I was in Tucson 2 days ago.
Are you a professional pilot?
Yeah.
What do you fly?
I fly what's called an ERJ 175. It's all computers now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of a pilot.
What is it?
It's an Embraer made in Brazil.
Okay.
And it's an 80 passenger, 77 passenger jet.
Yeah.
Looks like a small Airbus.
Yeah, I'd never fly. That's a glass cockpit, right?
Yeah.
I'd never even attempt to even learn to do that. I'd die.
It's like 6 weeks of, and then at the very end, they put you in the simulator, you're like, and then the last simulator session you have, you go, okay, I think I can do this. And then they give you the test. And the test, about halfway through your test, you're like, I think I might pass. Yeah, they give it to you right. It's like drinking from a fire hose. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, I wish you the best and great success, and I wish you tremendous mental acuity. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to meet you. This
Okay.
was awesome. I
Yeah.
got this little interview. I'll put this on YouTube.
Put it on YouTube.
And hopefully, if I get it right, I'll videotape that too. Because this car.
Oh yeah, if you when
everybody's
you're in
been-
Phoenix, give me my email is on that website.
Okay.